welcome to the Healthy Back for Life series. We're on to exercise number 4. We're changing positions. One of the most important things when you're dealing with clients that have simple low back pain is that you don't want to keep them lying still too long. So you need to get them up, get them moving, get them changing positions. So we've done 3 exercises. Although they're all very different, we've been lying on our back. So now I'm going to get you to come onto all fours. So we'll get our clients to come onto all fours. We'll have our hands underneath our shoulders and shoulder width apart. We're going to have our knees underneath our hips and hip width apart, and the back with the natural curves of your spine. Now, a few things to watch out for is that most people will either be here, pushing into their thoracic, or they'll push into their whole back and be here. So you do want to cue them to have the natural curves in their spine. And the other thing that happens all the time is they'll hang from C7, they'll drop their head here, which obviously causes a little bit of neck pain. So think about them keeping the neck just an extension of the spine, so it's in alignment with the spine. Okay, now what you could do, you could start off with just a little bit of breathing. So you take a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're just getting them to lift their abdominals without, moving their spine, and breathe in to drop. So breathe out as you lift your abdominals, breathe in to release. Out breath as you lift, in to release. So that in itself is quite hard for people to do when they're first starting Pilates and they're first starting exercise. It feels the wrong way around. So it's a great exercise to get them to practice. They can practice this at home. Out breath, and lift them up, in breath, release them. And get them to do this. Sometimes I get people to work in pairs. It's great. A, they get to know each other, and B, I get one partner to place one hand on the lower abs, the other on the lower back, and it just helps that feedback to know that you're not doing this, because it's very easy for them to go into that. So that's just a little way of getting them to connect with their abdominals on a 4-point kneeling position. So we've changed positions. So that is great. Okay, now if they've got that and they're feeling quite comfortable, obviously you're not going to keep them up there too long. You do need to keep getting them to come out of it, but then I'll show you a few others 4-point kneeling ones. These ones are absolutely brilliant for those clients, like I say, that have that simple low back pain. So again, natural curves of your spine. Now you're going to rock backwards and forwards. And what we're going to do is it's going to feel like we're sticking our bottoms out. So it's an out breath as we rock back, and I'm sticking my bottom out. Now look in the mirror because it's quite hard to do. So I'm keeping my spine nice and flat, and in breath as I come forwards. So that movement that goes on is fantastic, because what that movement does is it's basically you're getting hold of the hip flexors, the psoas really, and just stretching it and releasing it. So it's just really getting hold of that muscle and just doing that gently with it. Now what that does is once you do that and move that with that muscle, it'll just let go of its gripping. It's one way of it to let go of its gripping, and we all know that the hip flexors can cause a lot of problems with them being a little bit over tight, a little bit too grippy. So again, what you'll see with your clients is they'll go back and do that. Okay, they'll just go way too much into their hip flexors. They won't be able to let them stretch, and the pelvis will be tucked under, pulled under. So you really have to encourage your clients to get that movement. So either hands, placed on the top here to encourage them to get the feeling. Talk about sticking your bottom out, that sort of feeling that they need. Then you're going to come back to the centre. Once you've done that about 8 to 10 times, okay, then what you want to do is, because the hip flexors will have released a bit, you'll get more movement when we do this exercise, which is a pelvic tilt really on all fours. So it's a bit like the cat. So it's an out breath, you pull the abs in, you're going to tuck the pelvis under, you're going to push into the lower back. Try not to go into your thoracic too much. And then drop back down to your starting position. So breathing out, pull your abs in, tuck your pelvis under, push into your lumbar, try not to go too much into your thoracic, and release down. Now because you've done the previous little exercise, you'll find that clients get so much more movement now here. So usually if I get clients and we go straight into that, they can't do it, they're stuck, they're rigid. Everything is so tight around the pelvic area, so people are just here, they can't do that. And if they can't move into lumbar, they'll just go into thoracic, which I'm finding a bit hard to do because I'm so used to doing it. That's it, into thoracic there. So watch out for that. And again, it's lovely because it's stretching exactly where they need the stretch. Now, one of the things I've noticed with the clients I deal with is that that quite scares them to start with. That feeling of stretching their lower back, they often feel that or interpret that as pain. Okay, so again, you have to be encouraging that this is absolutely safe, it's going to be good, it's stretching. Talk about how compressed the lumbar area can get and how this is just lengthening it out. Okay, and then on the last one, I get them to hold this flexed position. And then it's going to be an out breath and we're going to rock backwards now with the spine flexed. Breathe in here and then breathe out and rock forwards with the spine flexed, and then off you go again. So very different to the rocking that we did at the start, keeping that spine flexed. So that means that they have to really keep working their abdominals, otherwise they'll drop out of flexion. And again, you're going to do that about 8 times, and that's really quite hard work because you're pulling in those abs the whole time. And then if they've got the mobility, you're going to go into a back rest. Another great exercise to do. So you're going to get your bottom down onto your heels, your knees wide apart, and encourage them to get their forehead down. Now obviously a lot of people won't be able to get all the way down. Get them, make fists. Rest your forehead on your fist or use cushions to pile up. It's more important that they have their bottom as close to their heels as possible than they get their forehead to the mat. So get the bottom down first and then worry about trying to get the head down, and just get them to stay and breathe into that. And then uncurl through a nice curved spine. There will be 1 or 2 clients that might not have the knee or the hip flexibility for that one. So you can get them to do the sort of curled up position, the embryo position. They might feel a bit more comfortable doing this, or if they don't, obviously head cushions here, then just get them to roll onto their back. And again, 1 knee, both knees in towards their chest. It's all about getting them to move and getting them to feel as comfortable as they can in that moving. So you have to be ready really to do some simple, very simple little adaptations. Okay, thank you very much. So that's another exercise in the Healthy Back for Life series. Thank you.